Have you figured out your niche? Are you helping adding value to other people's lives? Then you're in the right place. Welcome to Munira's Musings with your host, co-author of Conversations with Top Real Estate Investors Volume 3, Munira Zahabi.
Greetings from Chicagoland. Welcome to yet another episode of Munira's Musings. I am very excited to have my guest, Janene Liston, all the way from Basel in Switzerland. I am so glad that you're here. Thank you so much for doing this with me.
Thank you, Munira. I'm pleased to be here. Hello, everyone. Good morning.
Good morning. So thank you so much. And you know, Janene talks about pricing. I want to know what she's doing, how she got there, and what's important and why pricing is important as an entrepreneur. This is a very touchy and very important subject that everybody needs to listen to. So I cannot wait. But before we start, I want to tell you a little bit about who I am and what I do. I am the niche navigator. I am Munira Zahabi, coming all the way from Chicagoland. And I come to you because I want to help you to get alignment of your niches to your rich, because that's what's going to get you rich. And that's what I do. Now, if you want to learn more about my program, please go ahead and contact me. We will have a 20 minutes of getting to know each other and seeing if this is something that you want to do. There's a lot of people out there who want to do something but do not know how to start it, when to start it, why to start it. And I can help you with all of those questions. This show that came about when I met extraordinary people doing extraordinary things. And I thought it's upon myself that I have the tools. Why not interview them and let the word out? Because there is somebody out there who needs your services and wants to hear. Now, if you have a niche, really, you got a niche and you want the world to hear, contact me. Let's get you on Munira's Musings and let's talk about niches, because it's the niches that takes you to the riches, right? So, Janene, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yes. So I am Europe's most trusted pricing expert for small businesses. And I've been doing that now for about 2 years, helping small businesses feel more confident about what and how they charge their customers. I wasn't always doing this. I actually started my career as an architectural engineer, which is totally related, right?
Oh, yeah. That's all we do, right?
Yeah, so like you said earlier, I'm here in Basel, Switzerland, but I actually grew up in California and studied engineering in university, and then decided after university I needed to live on the East Coast. No reason why, just that was what I wanted to do.
Okay.
And so I researched jobs and I got a job with a small structural engineering firm. And I did that for a few years and realized it wasn't really what I wanted to do. I wanted to be around people more. And I worked my way into product management.
Okay.
And then that company that I was working for as a product manager, applications engineer, they bought a Swiss competitor and asked me if I would go to Switzerland to help integrate the companies. And that was how I ended up over here back in 2001. I came over on a 2-year contract.
And you lived there forever.
And I stayed for, it'll be 18 years at the end of July.
So are you still with the company or?
No, I've had a couple other jobs since then. I worked for Siemens for a while. I also worked for Syngenta for a while in the agrochemical business. And Siemens, most people know Siemens, but it's kind of like the European version of General Electric, if I put it in very loose terms.
Okay.
So they do everything kind of in electrical and electronics and everything from toasters to trains and back again. So, so I've worked in many different industries, which is something I really love about my career. I know there's people out there who stay with one industry their whole life, and I think that I just couldn't fit into that world. I love having worked in all these different industries that I've worked in.
Awesome. So, okay, from a job to an entrepreneur. How did that transition happen?
Right. Right. So when I started working at Siemens is when I started focusing only on the topic of pricing. I became their global pricing manager for their building technologies division and was working in that area to help the whole organization do pricing better. Let's put it simply. And at that time I loved what I was doing, and I was trying to figure out, is this stuff really transferable? Can I take these pricing skills that I've learned and bring them to other industries? And that was when I switched to the chemical industry to find that out. And then at the end of that stint, I went through a burnout. And I decided during the recovery process that I loved pricing. I just didn't love where I was doing it anymore. I wanted to help more companies, and I wanted to help individuals. I think everybody has the right to financial freedom in life. It doesn't mean that you can buy anything you want whenever you want and live frivolously, but to live comfortably and be able to feel free to go out and achieve that. And I wanted to help entrepreneurs and small business owners be able to achieve that. And
give us a little bit of synopsis of why pricing is so important for the big companies out there.
For the big companies. Sorry, for the big companies.
For the big companies, because pricing is a subject that everybody has to work with. But why is it such a big deal for the big companies, and why were you so successful in that corner?
Well, so really, one of the main reasons that it's such an important topic, not just for big companies, but we'll focus on the big companies for a moment, is because there's only 4 things that affect profitability in a company: price, volume, fixed cost, and variable costs. And price has the biggest impact on profitability. Okay. Now, if you think about what companies usually do first when they're looking to improve their profits, they usually start with cost reductions. But if you know that pricing, a 1% increase in price actually has a bigger impact on your profit than a 1% decrease in your fixed costs, then you would at least put as much energy into your pricing as you would into cost reduction. And a lot of times it's not actually about increasing prices, it's about managing price erosion. So if you've been in industry, if you had your own business for a long time, you know that over time, prices usually erode over time. And a lot of the job of the pricing experts and managers in the world is actually helping companies manage that price erosion so that it doesn't have such a significant impact. So sometimes it's about price increases, other times it's just about managing things better.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So how then did you take that and bring it to small businesses? Is the same concept?
Yeah, so the principles are the same. I think that the biggest hurdle, I want to say it that way, one of the biggest hurdles for small business owners, especially when they're just starting, is the confidence they have around pricing in their business. Now, there are people out there who don't have a problem with this at all, but I would say the vast majority of people starting businesses or in the early years of the business, they do struggle. And they may struggle because they don't feel they know how to go about setting their prices. And if you don't know how, then how can you feel confident in the prices you have? And if you don't feel confident in it, how will your customer ever believe that that's the right price for the right value? So a big part of it comes down to this confidence that people have around pricing, and how, I sometimes talk about how far into the red zone do you go when a customer asks you what you charge? Okay. Does that send you into a total panic, or just kind of in yellow, or are you cool with that and you know exactly how to respond to it? So just something as simple as being able to respond to that question in a confident way and feel that it's okay, to ask people for money for your services or your products. I think for some people it's a very difficult thing to do. Yeah.
Okay. No, I mean, this is true because I struggle. I don't know about everybody else, but I did struggle for a while to figure out how much each segment of whatever I do is, charged by. And it becomes like you said, am I charging this value correctly, or am I just overcharging them? And if I'm not confident, then it trickles down to the customer because they can see blood, right?
Right.
And they can see that smelling. So how does one overcome this? And how do you propose that one should price their services correctly?
Right. So there's a couple things here. One, I believe that the best pricing is rooted in a deep understanding of your target customer. So if you understand who you're targeting and you can be specific about that, you can actually narrow down to a price range that's fit for that group of people. Now, a lot of people suffer from, I'm going to sell everything to everyone, itis. They're trying to, who's your target customer? Oh, anybody can buy it.
Yes, I know. Right? I had that disease for a while.
Right. And that makes, sure, you can do that. But that means that the prices that you have, the value communication that you have around what you offer isn't going to be resonating with a group of people. It's going to be general. And the more general it is, then the harder it is for people to get excited about it. Right. So if you have a clear target group and a message that's clearly geared towards that group, it's going to resonate more in a more significant way with those specific people, and then they'll get excited, they'll tell their friends, and then people who are maybe outside that group might also join in, and it grows from there. So I think one of the things is being very clear and understanding your targeted customer. The other thing is people need to understand how to build their prices. Now, quite often historically, companies have started in one of two places, either by adding up their costs or by comparing to the competition. And both of these things tend to actually leave money on the table. Now, every once in a while, you find yourself overpriced, but usually you end up underestimating what you could be charging. So I believe you start with the customer, you understand who they are, what's important to them, and how they make buying decisions. Then you look at, what am I going to offer that's suitable for that customer? Once you know who you're targeting and what you're offering, then you can actually figure out, what pricing strategies do I have at an overall level and on a product level, if you have product specific strategies. Then you go and you check your positioning in the marketplace, right? You check how you're compared to the competition, and then you go and check your costs to make sure it's profitable to do business at those prices. And through those 5 steps, you're kind of narrowing down an original price range, which is between 0 and infinity. You're narrowing it down as you understand your customer. You can narrow it down, and what you're offering, then it narrows down, and it keeps narrowing to something that you can actually work with.
So how long does this process take? I mean, to figure all this out. I mean, you work with a client, what's the typical amount of days?
Right. So, I mean, it's not a typical amount of days. So depending on where people are starting, if they haven't defined or done a lot of definition around their customer and their packaging, then it takes a bit more time. And it also depends on how deep they want to go. So you can do, quick and simple versions of this. And we can spend a half a day to get started on that. Or you can also do a more detailed version where you might do some customer surveys or do some market research. It depends on the type of business. For most micro entrepreneurs, I either do a half day or like a 12-week session, 12 weeks program with them.
Okay, that's awesome to know, because this is important. How does one find you?
How does one find me? So they can go to www.thepricinglady.com. So I go by the name The Pricing Lady. I'm also available on Facebook and LinkedIn as well.
Okay. And so at the end of this interview, if you could just give us a link in the comment section so that people know where to find you. Any last words for any advice for our...
Yeah, I think that, so 2 things. One, I love your topic of a niche. And I really encourage that in my own clients, when we sit down and we look at who you're offering and what you're offering, to figure out, where you can really be specialized. And I know it's hard. I mean, of course, my target audience was wider when I started, and I've narrowed it with time. I think that's, part of the evolution that we go through. But I encourage you people, even when it feels uncomfortable, to stick with it a little bit and see what you can come up with, and let that shine through in what you do. And then in a pricing context, I want people to know that they are worth it. You're worth it. And if you don't start believing that, then your customers will struggle with it. And one of the biggest hurdles in pricing in your business is going to be whether or not you believe in the prices you're charging. And so you need to do whatever it is that will help you feel that confidence and that certainty around what you charge.
So what you're basically saying is be confident in who you are first, confident in your product, understand your avatar, your ideal client, and then you can price accordingly. Thank you so much, Janene. I appreciate it. I know it's a different time zone in Basel in Switzerland. But hey, you know what? This is an important topic that thank you so much for sharing with all our clients and watchers and all of our followers. For those of you watching, you can connect with Janene and talk to her about the pricing. She is, after all, Europe's best. I'm not being sarcastic. I'm being this. And if you are interested, go ahead, like, share, and subscribe to this video, because we bring you an episode every 2 days, and it's a different guest with a different topic, and it is going to help you so much with everything that you learn. Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Munira's Musings with your host, Munira Zahabi. If you enjoyed our show, please share and subscribe to this channel. And for more content, please join our Facebook group,